okay to stay sober. It's an option that could soon be on the table for people in California who are struggling with addiction. According to the CDC, drug overdose deaths in California have been on the rise in recent years. So state lawmakers are looking to try something that has never been done before, at least not on this scale: cash incentives for negative tests. It's a radical idea. So to find out if this could actually work, we wanted to bring in someone who might know. That's Harry Nelson. He's the founder of Nelson Hardiman and author of The United States of Opioids, a prescription for liberating a nation in pain. Harry, so good to have you back. So let's get right into it. Has this been tried before? Do cash incentives work to help people get off of drugs?
So California would be the first state to adopt it on the statewide level. It has been tried successfully in other countries, and the U.S. government has tried it in programs, particularly like with veterans, where it has been successful. So but we'll be the first state to do it.
So tell us a little bit about this bill. How exactly would this work? Would someone have to be enrolled in a program, I'm guessing, in order to get the cash?
Yeah, so the bill, SB 110, is going to start with drug Medi-Cal patients. So you're going to have to be in the Medi-Cal program. This doesn't apply to people who are in private commercial insurance, outpatient, or residential care. But essentially, it's going to create a pilot that will allow for drug Medi-Cal programs to give a financial incentive to keep for people to stay sober, and obviously the hope is that'll be a motivation for a population that's really struggling, where we're having trouble figuring out how to get through and motivate them appropriately.
Exactly. There's been a lot of criticism in California, for those who are familiar with the laws, after Prop 47, which initially, law enforcement has said has kind of taken away the stick when it comes to getting people sober. They no longer have this threat that they're going to get a jail sentence after they're caught with possession. So is this kind of an answer to that? If you can no longer threaten people with jail time, maybe you can incentivize them with cash to stay sober.
I think you're exactly right. I think, we've seen that the stick, jail time, and felonies doesn't work. Prop 47 was a game changer because it turned a lot of those felonies into simple misdemeanors. And so this really is a carrot approach as opposed to a stick. And I think I'm much more hopeful that we can motivate people and really get them to feel a sense that they can, the goal here is, like, if you can get people financially motivated in those first steps, which are the hardest steps, then hopefully they get on a path and they realize that they can reclaim their lives and move forward with that little bit of extra incentive at the beginning.
I'm sure you're already anticipating the criticism of this, and that it's potentially enabling a lifestyle, that it might encourage people to try drugs, knowing that, they have this fallback if things go awry. How would you respond to some of those criticisms?
We already have adjusted a very scary kind of, I would say, almost a tidal wave of people who are addicted, who we don't have good treatment options for, particularly when it comes to stimulants like methamphetamine. And so the idea that somebody would somehow be lured into drugs by the money that we're talking about, and by the way, it could be as little as a couple dollars a day or a couple $100 for a few weeks, is I think that's ridiculous, right? Nobody is going into into addiction for business. The reality is we have a lot of people who are getting trapped in this and stuck in a situation where they can't get out. And particularly the pandemic has made that much worse with rising rates everywhere. So the idea that this is, I know people are going to be skeptical about whether we're really just incentivizing anything. What we're really doing is throwing a lifeline, I think, and trying something different to try to get people to see that they can do this, and to give them just a little extra nudge in that direction.
Well, I mean, considering the opioid epidemic, the methamphetamine epidemic, and the fentanyl epidemics that we're all seeing right now, it's hard to imagine the situation being any more dire than it already is. Thank you so much, Harry Nelson. He's the author of The United States of Opioids. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on.